Video number 5. Number 5.1. We had a really sweet lady at the nursing home where I worked who called the night shift aides to her room just to thank them for taking such good care of her and to tell them she was leaving because her husband had come to take her home. This woman had never shown any signs of sundowners or any other form of dementia for that matter. So they were taken aback just a bit because we all knew her husband had died years earlier. They told her that there wasn't anyone there, but she said, "Oh yes, there is. My husband is standing at the foot of my bed and he's waiting for me to go." They told her to try and get some rest and left the room. When they went back to check on her, they'd found that she had passed. In the 20 years I was employed there, I have accumulated quite a few other experiences with the unexplainable as well. Number 5.2. My dad had vascular dementia. I cared for my dad until he needed care at a home facility. I was advised by the care home nurses that my dad was going to die that day as he was exhibiting all the signs. The doctor had visited, etc. My dad lived 14 more days. Those 14 days were wonderful. I cannot explain the transformation that occurred. My dad went from talking gibberish and unable to communicate due to the dementia, to regaining his mental abilities. He returned to his old self. He recognized all the family. Dad laughed and made jokes. He could see people that we could not. Dad told them to go away as he was not ready. We laughed so hard because he made us shout "go away" at the tops of our voices. Obviously we didn't shout loudly due to it being a care home, but Dad said to my daughter, "I know you can shout louder than that. I remember you as a kid." That moment was truly special for her. Dad had an angel with him. He told me the angel was smiling at him and was dressed in white. I asked him if he was scared and he said no. Dad would reach out to touch as described in this video. He told me people were there waiting for him. My son had booked to come visit on Saturday but changed his booking to arrive earlier. My son arrived on day 14 and was the last family member to visit with Dad. An hour after we left, my father joined the angels. I know my dad stayed with us until he had seen my son. I cannot explain the reversal in dementia or anything that happened in those 14 days, but the memory of that time lives in my heart forever. Number 5.3. My mom, who died in my arms, was visioning as she passed away. I saw she was looking up into a corner of her bedroom. I said to her, "You can see your parents and your brother," and without taking her eyes from the corner I told her to go to them as they had come to take her to heaven. She was agnostic, she was smiling and gave me a nod to my assertion. She made it another 2 weeks and died on her father's birthday. Number 5.4. About a month before she passed, my mom talked about her mama sitting on the bed with her. And she could hear the angels sing. Number 5.5. Both of my parents spent several days in a silent coma before death, so I never got to spend those final moments with them lucid. On both occasions, I said my goodbyes, while holding their hands, just after the doctors would tell us it would be very soon. While many family members would stay until the end, I would say goodbye, then leave the hospital. My fear was that I would make things harder for the other family who stayed, and I didn't want to cause pain. Both parents, who died 7 years and 3 days apart, left us shortly after 3 a.m. in December. Both times, I was asleep with the phone right by my head, waiting alone for the call. And both times, I woke up just moments before their official time of death, because I could feel them in the room with me. Both times, I sat up, said goodbye, and just sat, numb, while waiting for the phone call that came just minutes later. The second time, it was my sister. She said, "Mom just left us, but you already know that, don't you?"